How the inventor saved the world. Once upon a time there was an inventor named Ivan. He approached every invention with grand ambition. Ivan believed that if you're going to invent something, it should be massive and impressive. No point in doing things halfway. He invented all kinds of useful gadgets, but for some reason people only laughed at his creations and machines. For example, Ivan once invented a giant foldable trampoline. When folded, it took up very little space and could fit into a suitcase. But when you pressed a button, it unfolded into a massive structure the size of an entire city. "Have you lost your mind?" people said to Ivan. "Why would we need such a huge trampoline? First, you'd need a crane to get on it. Second, it's too big and doesn't bounce under normal people's weight. It might be good only for some giant dinosaurs." Another time, Ivan invented a spray to repel mosquitoes and ticks. But it turned out that the spray was so smelly that it was more of a repellent for people than for insects. "You really outdid yourself this time, Ivan," people laughed. "Your invention reeks of smoke and rotten eggs. Who would ever want to use such an awful spray?" Or take the time when Ivan invented a city-wide air humidifier. Regular air humidifiers are kept in people's homes. You fill them with water and they break it down into tiny particles, spraying them into the air to keep the atmosphere moist, which is good for the respiratory system. But Ivan invented a humidifier that could spray water over the entire city, and it was the size of a 20-floor building. "Are you out of your mind, Ivan?" people said. "Where are we supposed to get enough water to make that thing work?" Each time the public rejected his inventions, Ivan was heartbroken and would store his latest creation in his warehouse of useless things. But Ivan's sadness never lasted long, anywhere from a few days to a few weeks. Then another brilliant idea would strike him and he would immediately begin working on it, thinking that this time people would definitely appreciate his invention. One day, a catastrophe was announced on television. An enormous meteor, the size of half a city, was heading toward Earth. Upon impact, it would create a shock wave that would wipe out all life on the planet. People were panicking and no one knew what to do. And then Ivan stepped forward. "Don't be afraid, everyone, I'll save you," he shouted. "You?" the people asked in disbelief. "You're just a failed inventor. You've never created anything worthwhile. How can you save us?" Ivan didn't answer. He pulled out his giant foldable trampoline from storage and set it up over the city. When the meteor hit the Earth, it landed directly on the trampoline, bounced off and flew back into space. The people barely had time to celebrate before another disaster was announced on TV. It turned out that swarms of locusts were devouring crops on all the farms outside the city. If they weren't stopped, people would have to face a year of hunger without bread and other food. Everyone was in despair, but Ivan reached for his mosquito and tick spray. He had never tested it on locusts, but he was sure that such a powerful smell would be unbearable for any living creature. Ivan sprayed his concoction over the farm fields. The locusts, overwhelmed by the stench, fled in droves, wiping their tears. The harvest was saved. People were overjoyed, but then the news anchor announced yet another calamity. A local dam had burst on the river, and a massive wave of water was about to flood the city streets. This time the crowd looked at Ivan with hope, and Ivan did not disappoint them. The inventor pulled out his city-sized air humidifier. When the wave of water approached the first streets, Ivan turned on the machine. The humidifier immediately began sucking in the water and evaporating it, spraying mist over the entire city. For months afterward, the townspeople breathed fresh humidified air and felt safe. The people were thrilled and called Ivan a hero. Now, instead of calling him a failure, they referred to him as the savior of the world. And Ivan knew that if you believe in yourself and your inventions, you can achieve the impossible.